Hi guys, welcome to Back to Basics, episode 9, with me, Sims, Harry, Mr. Slinky, and Adam, A to the Z. Guys, we have got one massive show today. We have got the three guys when we started this off that I wanted to get on this show. Number 3 was, I can't remember his name now. Number 2 was Ghosty Army, and number 1 was the big man, Scott Gandhi. He is on the show with us. He's in the background. He's going to be jumping in on all the topics tonight. Gandhi, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us.
You're sweet, man. It's a pleasure to be here. I've always been a big fan of the EU scene, but I've yet to jump over the pond and actually be at an event. So hopefully one day in the near future that can happen. But it's good to see you guys are still fighting the good fight.
Oh, we will keep fighting the good fight. We are trying to keep Halo alive over here. We're struggling, but we're slowly seeing people creep back, and we're seeing his own European pros, big name players starting to crawl back, just like you will in the US. It's I'm getting a good feeling. I get a good vibe at the moment. It's going too well.
That's awesome, man. That's exactly what you're looking for. I mean, you guys are like a little bit behind us, right? Like you guys are probably like 3 or 4 months behind us in regards to attendance, because our attendance wasn't the best in the American scene like 3 months ago. It really wasn't. Up until EGL Nashville, which was whatever month that was, we had like 29 teams, 30 teams. So, I mean, you guys are right on par with us, which is good, because that's really how it should be. As long as we are seeing success, you guys are seeing success, everything's going to be better.
Definitely. We are going to be covering a lot of stuff tonight. We have got, in fact, I'm going to run through the list. We're going to start off with EGL10, and it was going to be quite a, well, I would have thought a quiet one until we actually just got the dates and everyone just went, boom, mind blown, what the hell. So we're going to have to talk about that, because that's going to be a massive debate within the EU. Moving on to the Pre-i49 tournament information. Mr. Slinky and Harry have been doing a lot of work on the forums the last few days, a lot of trolling and a lot of reading. So we've got an awful lot of information to go through. Talking about the tickets, the tournament for the BYOC tickets. Mikel's always got a bad habit of putting a tournament on for the top mid for tickets, things like that. He's gone ahead and done it again. We've got ourselves some tickets to bag for the tournament. Online Cups, Warriors unite for the win. Phil's community montage. Big shout out to Phil's. He's always doing the montages. We've got the community one incoming. They're always the European scene. Get your clips in. We're going to go bottom at Harry on that one a little bit more. The top mid. Put your scumbag Steve cap on. The top mid Astro 4v4 Cup has been cancelled. Disappointing Europe. Very, very disappointing. Thankfully, Kara saved the day. He's giving us a 2v2 and an FFA. More information on how it went to those and how to win the A30s, Harry, with mix amps. 4 Astro A30s and mix amps to be won on topmid.eu. Moving off from that, we have got the big man Scott. He's going to be throwing his useful information direct from the US on these. We've got UMG Chicago Roundup. The Can anybody beat Rain Ambush? That is the big question at the moment. They are on fire. Yeah. There's been an interesting team change, which I'm sure Scott will be able to give us a lot of light on, shed a lot of light on that when we get down to that, which will bring us nicely onto EGL8 and whether they can be dethroned, whether the King Roy has returned and he is building himself an army. An army will be raised. He's bringing the army. Will he dethrone Ambush as they stand right now? I'm sure Gandhi will be able to help us out. But right now, we are going to jump on to Adam and Harry. Harry, I'll let you start off. EGL10, what happened? What has just happened?
Oh, I don't really know. Yeah, essentially, a couple of hours before we come on air and start recording this show, EGL essentially announced the venue. I don't know if they announced the dates, but they announced the venue. I think they did announce the dates, actually, and it's a couple of weeks.
10th and 11th, is it, August?
10th and 11th of August, yeah. Saturday and Sunday, so a 2-day event, and it's 2 weeks before I-49, and as of recording this show, this is 5 weeks from now, so 5 weeks from announcing the event to actually holding the event. I don't know what they were thinking. I mean, it's crazy. Stupid. What are you doing?
What do you think, guys? Is it a clever move by them to think, yeah, we're going to pull everybody in and stop them from going to I-49? Or is it a retarded move because everyone's going to go to I-49 and think, yeah, well, we'll actually get paid at I-49, same as these don't pay us? What?
I I have a strong feeling that obviously it is a business decision in the sense that they're going to try and pull people in. Because if there is a tournament to be hosted and there's money to be won, people will go. If a lot of teams don't go and go to I-49, people are going to go, hey, I'll go to EGL, first, second, third. And regardless of the payouts and the delays, I think it's a smart decision. But it's a bit short notice. But I mean, I'll still want to take my team to go. So
it's in Sheffield down the road from me, so I don't have to pay for a hotel. I can drive home. Hey, I'll go down. It's an interesting one. It's a very, very interesting move, and I know a few people have kind of thought, "Oof, that's a bit dangerous." We know a lot of gamers don't have. They've got school, university, part-time jobs, and things like that. I'm sure you yourself, Harry, coming from the other side of the country, it costs a lot of money. At the end of the day, even for me going for Telford to go down to I-49, I'm struggling to afford both, and I have a well-paid full-time job.
I tell you, it sucks as well for the mainland European teams. We've got a couple of French teams that might want to come over. Yeah. We've got the Germans, Uprising, a couple of Finnish teams as well that might want to come over, and it's too short notice for them, man. I mean, those flights are going to cost so much. I mean, even 5 weeks in advance, there's going to be masses of money putting into those flights. So
they'd be better off taking a mum's holiday, won't they? Just come over in August.
Essentially, yeah.
Stay over and do 2 events in a month. Yeah, the life of the gamer.
I mean, something I was going to say is that it is unfortunate for all these foreign teams. I mean, I can't imagine being in a different country and being told, 5 weeks from now there's a tournament. And I try and book as early in advance as possible, but the way I see it is if you can go to it, you shouldn't boycott it for any reason, being that it's been delayed or the payments haven't been paid out anytime soon. But more LANs and more tournaments are always the key way to get better. So I think if you can go to it, you should go to it. But I still think at the same time it's going to be difficult to go to if you're in a different country.
I can see Mr. Gandhi waving his hand in the background. Scott, what's your thoughts on this?
So this is something that I actually just got into a debate on Twitter with one of the American players. So the problem is that, even though it's not different countries in the United States, it's still costly to go, from East Coast to West Coast to Midwest. It doesn't matter, anywhere. Flights are extremely expensive. And our demographic of people, it's 16 to 22. They're either in college or in their high school and they have part-time jobs, so they can't necessarily pay for them. But it's such a double-edged sword, man, and it sucks for a lot of people who can't make it, but the people who are funded are normally the top teams, and they're able to go to these events, and they're able to make more money. And as everyone knows here, the main attraction's the best players, that's who you're going to see, so they're still going to attend the events. But the problem is the people, between, 6 and, 32, they won't be able to make all their events. And so what happens is then eventually, what should happen, if you look at history in regards of tournaments across all scenes, what should happen is that eventually, if they keep trying to scumbag, which is essentially what they did, right? They announced it and it's 2 weeks before the event, right? I-49?
Yeah.
Or EGL10 before I-49. One of those companies is going to realize that, and they have to raise the bar so they get better attendance. So then it's all right, well, you guys were competing for $2,500 US. Now we're going to make it $5,000, or you can go to EGL10 and make, $1,000. You take your pick. Because at the end of the day, money does play a factor. So then you'll have the local teams going to the smaller events, and then that league's just going to keep building and building and building. But if that doesn't happen, then what happens is it just becomes this saturation, and no one really knows what to do at that point, right? That's the scary part, because eventually you want to see an increased prize money so we can all have a jolly old time and hang out and make a living off of this. But without that, we're just going into our pockets for our own hobbies, which is awesome too. But when you excel at something, you should be rewarded for it, And gaming is everyone plays video games now, man. Everyone. No one goes outside. Kids don't go outside anymore. They play video games, man. So I would love to see the same thing happen in the United States as it will happen in the EU, and that's either I-49 or EGL just goes, all right, listen, they want to be a competition? Perfect. We'll double the prize money. And sure, it's going to hit their pocket a little bit, but some league has to come out on top.
I did say this to Nick Mitchell, who's one of the guys helping run EGL. I did say to him on Twitter just a minute ago, if you're putting this on before I-49, 2 weeks, then are you going to a company shouldn't necessarily have to support its gamers, but it should at least try and encourage them to go. And if they want us to do both events, then they've got to make it worth as well. And I said to him, "Are you going to make it worth as well? E.g., ticket prices?" And he said there'll be pretty much no change on ticket prices, is what he said. But there are other things to be considered, and whether that's a larger pool of money, I don't know. But for me, I think doing it this way, after all the trouble we've had with EGL, especially on the TopMid forums and all the different things that have been said about them, I definitely think they need to have to pull something out of the hat. Seriously, they have to reach into that magic hat. There has to be a bunny the size of the house that comes out of it if they want people to go to EGL at the end of the day. It's got to be good, and I anticipate and look forward to what they say. But for me at the moment, I agree with you, Az. We shouldn't look at a gift Dorset mouse as such, but I'm focusing on I-49 for the future because we have got to show them guys that we are here to stay and Halo is here to stay. And if we at the moment, it's been said in the forums, this is a tester for those. They've done it before, and I think we've had problems in the past. I didn't really see much of Reach, so I'm not going to even comment on it. But we need to show them we are here and we are not going anywhere. So for me, I'm focusing in on I-49 as opposed to EGL. Now, that's not me being biased. That's me saying that I think future, bigger things are going to happen. Bigger and better things. I mean, and I'm not putting them down in any way, but how many years ago was EGL 6, 7, and 8? And they're just putting on the forums today that people are now getting paid in the next 7 days. And that's a long time to be paying you winners of your tournaments. I mean, can anyone actually guess when 6 and 7 were? Do you know? You guys have any idea?
What was it?
EGL 6 and 7?
I think it was summer.
It's been a while, that's for sure, to be
right?
paid. Did the guys at AGL get paid straight away, Scott? Do we know?
I think it's not straight away. I think there was a little bit of turmoil, but it was a month and a half, 2 months, right? I mean, MLG, in 2005, I remember my mom called Shockwave's mom, and she was like, well, I think they're kind of working for free because they haven't gotten paid in 7, 8 months. But it's just, I mean, but they got their shit together, obviously. But I don't. It should be. You should be able to get your payment in a month. I gotta think. I mean, what are you doing in that time? You know who your winner was.
Yeah.
You have to process the check and mail it.
So even from MLG perspective, even they struggled to give money
at the beginning. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, so at least it's not just EGL, then it is a global thing as such. I suppose it's not. It doesn't limit to them, does it?
The thing I was going to say is that you're kind of right in the sense that I-49 didn't have to, in any way, shape, or form, go out on a limb for us, and they totally have. And they have members of staff that are coming on our forums, and they've never interacted with that many of us, and have changed their the trailer you talked about, the throwing Halo in there, and they've welcomed us. Whereas EGL has kind of got the whole scumbag Steve cap on at the moment. But I mean, it's gonna be hard to decide where you want to put your money, because at the end of the day, everyone who goes is a paying customer and should be treated correctly. But at the same time, I don't think anyone should be boycotting EGL. I mean, you should still try and go.
Yeah,
but
if you can.
But if it was between the two, a lot of people should be looking at I-49 for future.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing. Rather than, you don't want this to break a community apart. You don't want it to ruin one tournament. You still want a tournament with as many people there. And I think you're right there, Adam. If you can afford to go and you want to go, I'll still go to EGL regardless of what I say. I'll still go because it's down the road. But it's, if you've got to choose, I think this is what I'm trying to say to the community. If you have to choose one, if you have to, for monetary purposes, go to I-49. For the love of God, please. I can say no more, and that is my personal opinion, not from any companies or anything. That is my personal opinion to the EU community. Go.
I'm waiting for this poster of you saying Sims wants you to go to I-49.
Sims wants you for I-49.
I have a question. Have you guys talked to the guys of I-49? Do you know, because you're saying the EU community has to prove something, right? The EU Halo community. Have you talked to them to see what their expectations are?
I think Mikel's kind of come back to us, and he's trying to push it along. There's a lot in the pipelines that I don't think there's still a lot to come. And I know I can confirm now. Mikel's spoken to me today, and they do want to come on the show next week to explain a lot more. But I think it's still a matter of they're giving us this opportunity to shine and to show them, really. And Mikael's pushing for people, when they buy a ticket, he wants to know on the forums, have you bought your ticket? Who have you bought? What's your team name? Blah, blah, blah. So he can actually get up on the forums to physically say, right, this is how many people we are definitely got going now. So there is definitely something in the background that we do have to prove to multiplayer what we can give. You know, they've got Call of Duty, LOL, Minecraft. They have got, it's a whole gaming exhibition. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. And at the moment, Halo's going to be like a small fish in a big pond, and we want to be the shark that eats every other fish going eventually. So we want to lay our foundations, and we want to start somewhere. We want to build something. Eventually, when Halo 5, I don't know what it's called, in the future comes out, and it blows up to be as big as what Halo 2 did, all being well, we can only hope that we are there. We are sat on a podium, and we are at the top of that podium, just like you were saying before the show. We need to be ready for it, and that's the aim. That is the aim, I think, for this community to do.
I would ask for what kind of numbers are you looking for with team attendance or stream numbers, and just be like, you can lowball it, you can highball it, doesn't matter to me. I just want to know to gauge of our success, because really, you know, when you put on like a tournament, like, you know, UMG had good stream numbers, and AGL does, and they're also selling out a lot of passes. But the thing is like, you have that benchmark, right? Like, you want to hit, like, for them, it was just like, we want to sell out 64 team passes, right? And you hit that benchmark, and it's like, okay, we did this. And then you try to get a little bit better and better. So to the point where you're just knocking out of the park every time. Because then you guys can all come together and be like, look, guys, we have 30 teams signed up. We need to get to 48, or we're at 20 teams, and we got to get to 32 to prove that we belong here. And then someone just decides to reach into their pocket and be like, all right, I got to go to this because my future in gaming relies on this. And that's because then people like come, they're getting the call to arms, you know, and then they just shine. And because everyone wants to be a part of a bigger cause, right? Everyone does. You want to be behind something. And that's exactly what you guys can do with I-49. You can be like, listen, we can be here to stay. Like, you guys will always have tournaments that pay out on time, and you can have your stream numbers, and then you can start streaming again, you can start playing more. Just show up to this event, prove that we belong here. And that, my friend, is the key.
Yeah, definitely.
I would ask him that 100%.
Well, no doubt they'll be watching this anyway, because it does go on the forums, and they are on the forums vigorously at the moment with the event getting close. So
salute.
I think you just asked them yourself, to be honest, Scott.
That's awesome. That's very, very good.
Right. Okay. Time's ticking on. So we're actually going now. As soon as we're on pretty much I-49 anyway. Hamza, we want to show you guys at home what I-49 is all about. So if everyone can mute the mic, Hamza, take it away with the video. Look at that. Hey, that is a damn good video. Notice how... Did anyone notice as well? I think, Harry, did you capture it on 32 and 33? Is it?
Yeah, it's Ramirez, Matty K, and Riot in their Dignitas shirts. I think that's I-38, which is a while back now. So, yeah.
Did you, Mr. Halo knowledge of events? It's yeah, that is certainly some video that they've released. Guys, if that doesn't actually encourage you to come to I-49, then I don't think nothing will. That video, I think even we spoke to Gandhi before, and you've seen the video, Gandhi. What did you think to that?
You know, to be honest, man, I haven't seen, like, you know, when the league's down or whatever, you know, or things aren't going as well, or it's a new company, their production normally slacks a little bit, but, like, I think that, like, kind of rivals those, like, MLG old school hype videos. You remember the 2011 Major League Gaming Circuit when it was, like, went from, like, StarCraft and, like, players holding trophies? That was awesome. I'm jealous. Because that's sick. That was
come across. Feel free. Get a flight. Come across.
Day I have money, man. I'm there.
You can sit with me and Jules casting.
Yeah.
It'd be good fun.
can hang out.
Yeah, that is. I'm just so hyped. Even more watching that. I was looking forward to it as it was at the beginning, but I am looking forward to it so much. Again, Adam and Harry are doing a fantastic job in the background, doing a lot of research at the moment. Oh, look at that! Look at those! Look at those faces! Look at them faces! So I'm going to pass it to you guys. I don't know how you want to do this because it's more of a question and answer kind of thing, but
yeah, essentially what I was going to do, I was literally just going to round up this article. Basically, Mikkel and Sokro, who are running the tournament at Insomnia 49 in August, they essentially tried to clear a few things up that people may have been wondering about the event coming up. So the days that the tournament spans across, because as we know, Insomnia is across 4 days, which I think is Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. It might be Monday as well, I don't know. But it's 4 days. People were quite curious as to what days the tournament was actually going to run over, and they can confirm that it's going to run over the Friday and the Saturday of the event. So that's pretty much 2 solid days of competition, and the Sunday as well to do some fun things like maybe some exhibition matches, maybe some staff versus the community kind of thing. I don't know. It'll be a few fun things to try and draw some people in. The format of the 4v4 tournament is still yet to be announced because they need to appoint a head ref and they want to consult and see what's best for the community, which is fair enough. And that's one of the positives we've got as well with Mikkel and Sokro running this tournament, is that they're so integrated within the community. They know what we want, so that's really great. The rules we'll be using will be the latest TopMid rules. Will not be the V4 settings that Ghost the Army has so lovingly prepared in the Throwdown playlist. There will be a stream for this event run by Sokro, who runs the EGL streams, which is, I think we can all agree they're top notch. The EGL stream, he does such a fantastic job. FFA at the event is not yet confirmed. Again, if we have time on Sunday, maybe there might be a free-for-all tournament, but we have a few things to clear up still. There is no main stage time at this tournament, so the slot we were given for a main stage final is way too early, and we'd have to rush through the whole tournament, which is pretty much not feasible. So main stage time is not a possibility. They are still looking for referees, so if you want to go and apply for a referee, to be a referee I should say, go onto topmid.eu and it will be in the news section somewhere under I49, so go and have a look at that. Again, a massive shout out to the sponsor, the tournament, I49, consoledeals.co.uk. They've really helped us out in a lot of ways for this tournament, so thanks a lot. Again, it's just really clearing up some of the things we didn't really know. If you've got any questions, Mikkel on the forums has lovingly suggested that you send him an email. His email is mike@topmid.eu. So if you have any questions, feel free to email Mikkel.
He's really good at responding. Even if you at him at the forums, he'll get back to you straight away. And if there is anybody out there that is looking to, I might as well say it, back I49 Halo 4, if there are any sponsorships out there that are looking to press forward, if you do contact Mike on that same email address, he's more than willing to talk to people, I think. Yeah, it's just going to be great, isn't it? It really is. I'm so hyped for it now. Adam, are you looking forward to I49? How are the A4Ds feeling right now?
I mean, we're looking forward to it. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone is, even casters or people spectating. There's a few people who are coaching at the event, and they're going to love it. I mean, they said that we're planning to run various little events that could be open to everyone at the venue on the Sunday. And I reckon get an FFA in there, get a couple of 2v2s, just get people playing the game. It doesn't have to be 100% competitive. I mean, I remember at EGL London, there was a lot of people who were like playing COD, and they were there, and they paid for the FFA, and they weren't wearing headsets, and it gets people involved. And I mean, there will be a stream, which is one of the most important things, I reckon. If we get that the donations up for that stream equipment, is it the Black Magic?
Black Magic, yeah. We're still taking donations for the ATEM. I keep saying it. I tried bumping it up to $200, which I did. A few people donated afterwards, but we're still. Are we even a quarter to the way of the $1,000 mark of what we're needing?
I'm not 100%.
We really need people on that forums to get donating if we can, guys. We do want our own streaming equipment that we can take to EGL, I49, any other events that we go to. Sokro will be there and he will be doing all the work. Good old Roy off his own back. Mikkel says that this can be by certain individuals, borrowed, rented for our own social LAN events, which is a brilliant suggestion of, there's more things to it, and I'll always say, please, if you can, go on, donate. If every person on that forum donated £1, just £1, we'd hit that target. It's ridiculous. If every person just donated £1, the target would be hit. It blows my mind as to why people who are going to be on stream and making use of this don't want to donate. It completely boggles me. It really does.
€1, $1, anything, £1, anything. Honestly, it all helps. So, honestly, if you can help out, it'd be really, really.
I think he said dollar on purpose there, Scott. To be honest, I think.
I noticed that too. I was like, I know they don't use that currency.
So, do we have any more to add on that then, or do you think it's pretty self-explanatory, boys? Are we?
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing to say is that like the whole venue itself will be really good. I mean, in Manchester, when they had, was it cosplay that was on at the same time as the event? I mean, people were wandering around for Dota 2, like LoL, like Counter-Strike. There's a Minecraft Expo. There's even a thing called Games Quest, and then there's the world famous Insomnia pub quiz, and followed by a boat race. I mean, it's going to be a full packed weekend, so people just get down there and just go check it out. Even if you're playing Halo, you can wander about and see what's up.
Definitely.
If you guys send me that link, I'll tweet it for the donations.
Yeah, if you don't mind, please, that would be absolutely fantastic.
Have you posted that on the Beyond website? The donations?
No, I haven't.
Why?
This will be going on. I don't know, to be honest with you. I think it's probably not a good shout.
Beyond forums, we're coming for you.
Yeah, we're coming beyond.
Just bomb it, man. Just send the link or post in the forums, and then I'll reiterate it out there because there's a lot of good people out in the American scene that'll donate.
It's essentially, I mean, I'm sure you know what one is anyway, but it is just so that Roy, who does all our streaming for our events, it's not going to be for him, it's going to be for us as a community, and he's more than happily willing to put the time, effort in to run pretty much any stream at any event, and he's going to do it all himself. He's put a lot of time, effort, and his own. I know he's got a lot of his money has gone into this as well, with all the cabling and things like that to make a lot of stuff happen. It's just beyond me. All we need to do, I'm sure it's $900. That's it. It annoys me because if every person just donated $1, we'd smash it in no time. It'd be, and probably even if you could go further, if there were more than that, it'd go back into a prize pool for I-49. No doubt, there'd be nothing else to do for it. It'd go back into a prize fund. Anyway, yeah, it annoys me. We need to do it. So, Harry, I'll let you do this one again. I know you're quite good on this one. TopMid.eu have released the I-49 online tournament for a set of 4 BYOC tickets to enter the actual tournament for the Halo 4. EGL did this last time at theirs, and don't get me, did High Society win it?
However, it wasn't for actual tournament tickets. It was for, I think it was 50% off a team ticket, so it wasn't a whole ticket. So yeah. Essentially, again, this Insomnia tournament, which is so fantastic that we've got them integrated with our community. Again, with Meekwell and Sorko, they do such a fantastic job. This tournament, it's free to enter, and it's open to everyone across Europe. So if you live in anywhere in a European nation, feel free to enter. Make sure you're free on the weekend. So this is over 2 days, on the 13th and the 14th of July. It will be a best of 3 double elimination tournament, with the final being a best of 5. Obviously, the game types we'll be using is the TopMid rule set again. And sign-ups are open until the 12th of July, so head on over to TopMid and we will be happy to sign you up. That's essentially it.
Yeah, that's it. It's something else for free. It's another 3 tournaments going on at the moment online. That's just one of 3. These are all free stuff. There's no reason. So I'm a little bit annoyed at the 4v4 Cup. A little bit annoyed. It's all free stuff to get involved in. We've been given these out of the goodness of possible sponsorships, stroke events, and we're not taking full advantage of it as a community. And I don't know why it's free. Even if I don't have a team, but I'd quite happily go and post up and get 4 randoms and enter one just for crack of it. I'm more than happy. I'm more than happy to do it like that.
Just really quickly on the clarifications for the prize of this tournament. If you win this tournament, you'll get 4 bring your own console tickets, and these are worth about £100 per ticket. So this is about £400 worth of prizes, and they allow you to enter any tournament at Insomnia, provided they don't clash with each other. So you could enter the Minecraft tournament. I don't really know what's going on there. The Black Ops tournament. You can enter
biggest castle,
Counter-Strike, as well as Halo 4. So these 4 tickets that you get for you and your team, you can enter anything across Insomnia events, provided that you register for them first. So this is a fantastic prize, and it's definitely worth entering for.
Another great thing about Insomnia, it's not just Halo 4 that you can play with one ticket. You can buy a ticket and you can enter 3 or 4 tournaments. You can just play from Friday till Monday, full 4 days. You could just sit there and nerd your face off at a computer desk the whole weekend. It is brilliant. Right, okay. Oh, Adam, you got more on that, pal?
I was literally going to say the last thing is it is 100% free to enter. You've got nothing to lose, and I literally expect every single person, even thinking of attending I-49, to be there. I mean, it's madness if you don't want to enter it, even if you're a decent team, because you're saving money. Like it's just do it.
Anything can happen online. That's what people need to realize. Anything can happen online. Anything can happen in Halo, but when you're in a BT Infinite connection, cable can do an awful lot more for you. But anything can happen. Just what have you got to lose? Nothing. What have you got to gain?
Yeah, the other thing is that some teams who are maybe lesser known, they can actually use that as a platform for practice. I mean, you're playing against other teams that you may not know and give you a little inside scoop on them, but as well, that gives you... I talk a lot about tournament preparedness, and in the States, it's like you have like a 2-week crunch before an event where you just grind, and every game you treat like a tournament. But this is like an actual tournament for a prize, so you would be 100% treating it exactly how you would on land, regardless of the frustrations online. So 1, it's going to prepare you mentally, and 2, it's going to see what games you kind of suck at and need to work on, and how you match up versus everyone else. So regardless, and then you always have that excuse of, oh, well, it's online, man. Come on, let's be honest, So I personally, I would do it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just me.
It's free. I just don't see why not. But quick shout out to Philza. Adam, do you want to do this part on his community montage?
Yeah, I mean, Philza released this a little while ago, and he's basically... Philza's always been really, really good at making montages for everyone. He's done an event montage as well, which is still one of my favorites, which is London, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And, he's done so much for the community. He even done that charity. What was it he raised again? Do you know, Harry?
It was for Child's Play charity. He did a marathon of every Halo game in order. So Halo Reach, Halo 1, and then Halo 2, but before the second level of Halo 2, he switched over to Halo 3 ODST, back to the rest of Halo 2, and then on to Halo 3 and Halo 4. I can't remember how much exactly he raised, but it was such a fantastic thing, man. He's such a gem for this community. He's a really nice guy, and he definitely deserves your submissions.
Yeah, and like everyone, he smashed the record, the money he was trying to raise, and But anyway, let's get into more important things. He's looking preferably for 4-shot kill settings and either customs or matchmaking. The most important thing you need to remember is that when you're clipping, like these clips, you need to leave at least think in your head of a 5-second gap before the first kill, because he needs to edit it in a way that he can add like your name and a template. He can talk over the clip before it starts, and then the clip begins. So you need to give him that 5 second before the first kill, and then 5 seconds after the last kill in the clip, so he can roll it into the next one. Because that was something that caught a lot of people out the last time he was doing the clips for the last Taj, the Christmas Taj. I'm actually unsure. I'm pretty sure you can send clips in now, but I'm not sure when's the closing date. I'm not 100%. I don't know the closing date, but in other words, you should get your clips in now. For the next couple of days. That's a good way.
I don't think he's put a closing date on it, or he's not wrote one anywhere unless it was in the video, which I haven't actually seen yet. But he's definitely not put one on it.
I think it was in the video that he put. But yeah, if you want to submit your clips to this montage, I mean, if you've got a load of clips, I mean, fair enough, you're going to have your own montage. But if you've only got 3 or 4, you're not maybe getting that many amazing clips, you should definitely send them into this montage, man. And this is open worldwide as well. So if you're in America, if you're in Brazil, no matter where you're going to be, if you're in South Africa, I mean, you can send your clips into this montage. All you have to do is send a message saying Taj or montage to the gamer tag Philza with a 1, so Ph1LzA, and it'll cap your clip. Obviously, put it on your file share as well. That might help. I mean,
if it's good enough. Yeah, that could be some of the stuff he's pumped out. It's just been awesome, man. It's been absolutely fantastic. He's such a legend in his own right, and the only, some people get worse over time. Like films, you make a new film, and over time they just start to trail off. Everything he releases, bang, bang, bang. It's just, it gets better with age. Unlike Phil's, he's looking worse for wear these days. But his montages do definitely get better with age. It's going to be good. It's definitely going to be good.
My favourite thing about Philza is how close him and Valadan actually look.
No, Mark's definitely way more into heroin than what Philza is. Definitely.
Oh my Jesus. Anyway, yeah, if you want to see some of Phil's previous work, YouTube Resolution to Halo 4. He did a montage within the first 2 weeks. Again, it was another community project, and it was so well done. So yeah, Resolution to Halo 4, YouTube that. It's amazing. It's really, really good.
It's savage. Right, so moving on then, we have the final things to do with TopMid before we actually move on to the US events. They roll into each other. So first of all, I'm just going to say it. Garbage job, guys. Seriously, TopMid Astro 4v4 Cup has been cancelled due to the lack. Oh, look, Adam's upset. The amount of people who actually entered it. It's very annoying and very frustrating for the simple fact that Astro came to us. They give us 4 sets of A30s and 4 sets of mix amps to go with them, and they said, right, here you go, guys. Produce a tournament. Winning team takes home this. How the hell can we not, as a community, create a tournament and get enough people to sign up to it when it's free? You know, the thing what annoyed me most about this is that Astro, we can see from AGL, Astro are all over that. And they're a big sponsor, and they provide a lot of stuff and prizes and publicity. Guys, Astro could be watching this for future stuff. You know, especially if we want to get more sponsorships on for Pre-i49, Astro could be watching this and thinking, should we sponsor this? Oh yeah, here you go. Then we'll see what it's like. We'll see how much you get. Oh, sorry, we've got to cancel the tournament because not enough people attended. It's a little bit annoying. I know there's been various arguments back and forth on the forums as to why and how and blah blah blah. I don't care. This tournament should have been filled. This should have been filled. Whether it's to do with the lack of advertising or anything, but with the people in the community on TopMid, that tournament should have been filled day 3 after release and looking to start up. I'm disappointed, and I don't think we should drown in it anymore because Kara's saved the day. He's given us an FFA and a 2v2 out of it. I think the winning team for the 2v2 will get an A30 and a mix amp each. So that's 2 items going to the winners of that. I think, am I right in saying it's single elimination knockout as well? Possibly it's not double elim. I think it's single elim. And then straight on to the top 2 people in the FFA will win a headset and mix amp each. And again, that's going to be... Is it going to be on kills in the final? It won't be on games won, won't it be on the amount of kills all added up? But yeah, so a team of 2 people in the 2v2s, 1 team, and 2 people, top 2 in the FFAs, will win these headsets. He saved the day, but he shouldn't have to. He shouldn't have to have done that. Should have been a filled out tournament. I'm quite annoyed that he didn't get in. But time goes on. So, Harry, if people want to enter it, how do they sign up?
Okay, similar to the Pre-i49 tournament, you head over to topmid.eu, and I'm sure there'll be a link in the description of this video, so if you want to click on the video, go to the description, you'll be there. At the top, on the navigation bar, you should see Home, Forums, Members, and Tournament. If you click on Tournament, or you don't really know what to do from there, feel free to click on Forum, and then go to News, and then look for the thread that says TopMid and Astro, FFA and 2v2. So what you do then is you go onto the Tournament tab, you create your team, you join the tournament, and you invite your friend that you're going to be playing with, your doubles partner, you invite him in, and then you join the tournament, and then you just turn up. Your games will be decided for you, and you'll be shown in the bracket, and then you just need to add the other person's team, and then you start playing, and then hopefully you start winning. So that's pretty much all you need to do. And just to clarify as well, Harry? Just to clarify as well, it is double elimination. The 2v2.
Sorry, I've just reread that. That's my bad.
Yeah. So hopefully this one fills out. I hope so, because it would be a massive shame if it didn't, and unfortunately it would be a testament to the European community that we are incredibly lazy as gamers as well. So hopefully it gets filled out.
Gandhi, what would you think to that if Astro turned around to the Beyond forums, give them 4 sets of A30 headsets and said, right, here's a tournament, guys, and not enough people joined to it, signed up to it? What would your first initial thoughts be on that if there wasn't enough teams to actually create a tournament?
I wouldn't allow it to happen. First off, that's just something that just has to be done. You gotta. I mean, I can understand, like, I guess in a weird way as to why people wouldn't be interested, but at the same time, it's like you can enter this for free and you have the chance of winning like the A30s. And I've always wanted a damn pair of A30s, always. Like, I don't get me wrong, I like my A40s and all, but like A30s, like, I'm not gonna go into an airport with A40s on. You know what I mean? Like, they're just too big. I'm not gonna do it. So like an A30 is like perfect for travel and everything. But I don't know. It's just people need to realize that sometimes, even though it may not be what you want, if you want this to be your profession or to make money off of it, you kind of have to bite the bullet on some things. And this is one of the things that it's not even biting the bullet. Like, if it was just like a free tournament with nothing to win, and then like, you know, you got gamer jerseys or whatever, then okay, that's whatever. But these are A30s. That's like a $250 prize anyways. You know, so I don't know. I would never allow it to happen in in the States. You got me saying EU. God, you're already trying to turn me into a European. My shirt's gonna get tighter. Like on.
Shirt's gonna get. What we ain't got? That's not very nice. I'm gonna show
Harry, man. He's
Harry. That's because he's hench.
Right? Jack.
Oh God, Slinky. Slinky by name, slender by nature. Jesus Christ. Right, okay, enough smashing that one. We get the gist, guys. Enter the 2v2, enter the FFA. There's free prizes, they're free to enter, they're worth a lot of money, and they're worth winning. Do it! Right. Oh, moving on to UMG Chicago Roundup. Scott, this is where you, my friend, are going to shine. We want to hear your thoughts. First of all, we'll go... Harry, do you have the final fixtures to hand for the scores?
Just the
Quick
final
rundown.
placements. The top 8, starting with Reality Check, 7th and 8th, along with Severance. Up to the top 6, Legendary, who played an absolutely amazing tournament. I watched them on stream against Rain Ambush, and they were one of only 2 teams that managed to take a game off Ambush that entire event. So props to Legendary, they were amazing in that event. And then top 6, again, Believe the Hype. On to 4th, a bit of a surprise, Status Quo down that low, below Warriors in 3rd, who take home $1,000 as a team. Up into 2nd, Roy's new team, Classic, $1,500 they take home. And 1st, who else is it going to be? It's Rain Ambush, their 4th tournament on the spin. They take home $7,500, and the MVP of this event was Roy, making his return to competitive Halo on the Classic. So congratulations to Roy, and well done to Ambush as well.
How do you want me to do this? You want me to start from the bottom and work down? How do you want me to do this?
Man, just run with it. You just fire away. We'll jump in, but we'll let you the next 2 parts. It would be great if you don't mind that we would like to hear from you.
That's perfectly fine. All right, so UMG as a whole, like, I didn't go to cast because I duo with Maven, right? Like, that's my guy, and he had a wedding to go to, so I was like, I'll step out and let some other new faces come in. Golden Boy came in, he kicked the hell out of it. He did a really good job. He's a play-by-play caster, which is something that I'm not, so it's good to have that refreshing face. It's kind of like Puckett in the sense of back in the day. But so, you know, like, first reactions to UMG, like, it started off and it was shaky. And as we all know from tournament experience, the DLC codes always give people trouble. Like, sometimes they just won't load on boxes, and it's the most frustrating thing of all time. But, you know, they were able to battle that back. And so Saturday, like, people forget. And the one thing, like, if you're running a tournament in any scene, you can have technical issues the first full day, you can have it the full second day. But as long as you knock the final day out of the park, the viewers are goldfish, man. They only remember like 5 seconds, right? They're like, oh, dude, this event was so awesome. But the previous day, they were just doing nothing but complaining about it, you know? But so UMG put on an excellent event. Sure, they only had 31 teams come out to it, but that's just because, you know, it was after AGL8. There was money involved in AGL8 as well, so that's how it went. But in regards of placings, it's getting to the point now where it is completely apparent that regardless of the money, people want to win now, and they're severing ties with friends to make teams that are going to be better. So we saw a really good noob who, to be perfectly honest here, he basically not saved, but he propelled Mickwin and Chig's career leaps and bounds. And the one thing a really good noob has going for him is that he has a very, very great ability to grab a teammate and teach him how to play. So Roy got taught by the best person in the game in regards to effectiveness, how to play the game. So that's why he saw so much success, because everyone knew his shot was going to be perfect, right? And like he doesn't miss a beat. But the game knowledge in Halo 4, because you have to be so fast-paced, you have to be so aggressive, that's what he had to learn. And he picked it up instantly. So it's good that Ambush is destroying everyone and that we're starting to see more competition come in, but at the same time, like just looking at first place, I am not sure if Ambush will ever lose a Halo 4 event, period. I'm talking the entire duration. I know that's not what anyone wants to hear, and I know people will be like, oh, well, you hang out with the guys from Ambush. I watch them play, and casting them's only so fun because it's like a highlight reel for like Snipe Down and Formal, right? And then you go over to Pistola and you're like, how are you still alive? Like, I don't understand. But so their main thing is that they're about 2 events ahead of everyone. They have everyone beat on individual skill, and their game knowledge is just a little bit there. The only thing they're missing, kind of, is communication, but even that, they're good because they have Diesel coming in. So they're the whole package. They're like the final boss of 2006, 2007. They are the straight ripping of 2008. They are the final boss of 2010. Like, they are that. And they're the instinct of 2011 for Halo Reach. Like, they're just that good. But now we're starting to see his teams are starting to form. And, like, grabbing APG for Classic, perfect. Great fit. He's going to be running. He's going to just be able to run over people. And with Mikwin, they're going to be running together. But so before I get into the team change and everything, Classic taking second blew my mind. Did not see it coming. And the reason why I didn't see it coming is because they go up 2-0. Well, minus the fact that Roy only had 10 days of play. We'll exclude that from everything because everyone knows his Game 5 performance. But they go up 2-0. And Mikwin makes the worst mistake in Halo history. And he says, you guys are about to get 3-0. You never say that because you always jinx yourself. Everyone here who's a competitive player knows that. It's just how it works. You just can't say it. And so Warriors comes back. Now, when I was sitting at home watching it, I said to myself, well, Mikwin's never been in this position to make the finals before. He was up 2-0. He's nervous. Ryan Noob's nervous because he's about to lose to Ninja after that interview where he was just like saying that Ninja's a bad player, he makes poor decisions, blah, blah, blah. So they're all nervous. And so I was like, okay, Warriors is coming back to take this. And I predicted Warriors at second going into the event, but, dude, they literally came out and it's like Warriors had no momentum. And I don't understand that. And I know you guys watched this. Like, did that not surprise everyone here?
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Like, it was, like, what happened? Like, you were down 2-0, you win 2 games in a row to force a Game 5, and you come out flat? Like, that blew my mind. So looking at Warriors, I just, I feel bad because Ninja's such, like, a face of the Halo community. Like, he really is. Like, he's huge. He's been overseas. He's won events. He's the #1 streamer. He's it. Like, he's the total package, but he can't get over that hump right now. He was getting seconds. Now he's getting third. And with the new addition to Status Quo, which we'll talk about later, I don't see him making the money anymore. Like, his options are so limited. Like, losing APG is just a crutch. But I also think that APG on that team just didn't fit. Right? Like on paper, it made sense. You're like, oh, dude, APG's hands down a top 5 player going into Knoxville. He's got it, right? You think he's everything. But I think the reason Warriors worked in the past with a really good noob was because a really good noob is he's sneaky. So they're allowed to play passive. Well, as everyone knows, APG is probably the least sneaky player of all time. He's more like the Kool-Aid man running through a wall. Right? Like, he's there. So I just think it was a clash. I think looking back, like hindsight 2020, I think dropping a really good noob for APG was probably Warriors' worst mistake. Because now if you also think about it, they'd probably be getting second. They would have gotten second at Knoxville, and then they would have been in the position of, oh, Roy came back. Let's drop a really good noob now and grab Roy, right? Like, it's hindsight, but that's just something to think about. So moving on from them into Status Quo, and I'm just going to wrap in a team change in this as well. So Status Quo came off second place, and they brought like a very, very methodical, different approach to Halo 4. They would take their time sitting in their base, and then they would just kind of do a cycle. So they'd sit back in their base a little bit, like Simplex, for example, right? If they didn't have mid control, like anyone mid control, they would just camp back in their base and work in the buddy system. So 2 guys would be sitting purple, 2 guys would be sitting gold, and they'd focus them into a bottleneck, essentially. And then after they killed them, then they'd take midfield and push onto their base. So that's how they played. Well, it caught every team off guard besides Ambush, because if you give Ambush any ground, they're just going to run over you. And that's just it. Because it's when you sit back, it's relying a lot on your individual talent, and it's also relying a lot on your teamwork. And Ambush outclasses them in both. So that's why they weren't able to do that. But they beat every other team. So going into this event, I was like, okay, Warrior or Status Quo, you have one job. Your one job is to get through Warriors in the winners bracket semifinals, and you're fine. If you lose to them, you're out of the equation. And they lost. And I knew they weren't going to be able to beat Classic. The Classic is too fast, too aggressive of a team to even worry about Status Quo. They just one and done. Just run over them. They got their revenge, right? So that's our top 4. But so now what happens is with that $500,000 Halo Waypoint FFA thing that was announced, Europeans can compete in that, I'm assuming, correct? Awesome. That's badass in every way. So hopefully you guys will be crossing over the pond and we can hang out, drink some soda. But so, like, what happens is players are attracted to money. So now we're seeing as Snakebite and Royal 2 have returned. And as soon as they returned, and I'm doing an interview with Royal 2 today, or Snakebite, sorry. As soon as they returned, I was like, old Status Quo, the one who won the last Halo Reach event, the 2012 Columbus event, where they beat Instinct, the God Squad, and no one thought it was possible kind of thing. They have formed that team again. So it's Flame Sword, Enable, Royal 2, and Snakebite. Now, if you guys know nothing about Royal 2 and Snakebite, it was probably, at the end of Halo Reach, it probably went Pistola, Royal 2, Snakebite, Roy. Like, they were number 2 and 3, in my opinion, in the top 5 players, and they were disgusting. And so this game, where they can't get unzoomed or descoped, they're going to just keep excelling. That's the nature of the beast. So this team change is extremely scary on paper, and we're going to see our best competition. Maybe not at AGL8. Like, the losers bracket finals is going to be insane between Classic and Status Quo. But, like, the finals, I think they may take 2 or 3 games from Ambush, but the next event after that, when that's the Status Quo squads had, like, a month and a half of practice instead of just a month, we are going to see Game 11s with Ambush. And it's going to be coin flips. Mm-hmm. Because as everyone here knows, right? Like, you can be the best team in the world, but sometimes some teams, because first-person shooters, that's how it works, right? Some teams come out and they just have the best tournament of their life. And we always see it. We see the flukes. Like, randomly a team will make it top 4, and you're like, how interesting. Well, the same thing happens with first place, too, when the competition narrows down. So that is going to be amazing to see. So not this event coming up in July, but the one after that, probably after I-49, or around the same time. That's when we're going to see the best U.S. event. Moving on to 5th, 6th, Legendary impressed me a lot. I think Legendary had the best chance of breaking into the top 4, but they just fell short to Status Quo. And with the way they played Ambush, you could go back and watch that game, and a couple kills go the different way in the 1v1 battles and little teamwork changes. Like, they were in a position to 3-0 Ambush because they won Game 2, and then they lost Game 3 by, like, 1 extraction. And it was Ambush's worst game type because it was Station 9. So it was like, they could do it, right? And they just fell short. So Legendary, the problem is in the States, and I don't know if it's the same problem in the EU scene, but teams, when they fall outside of the top 4, everyone's like, screw it, man, you sucked. I'm teaming with him. Get out of here. Like, I don't get that, man. Is it the same problem happens in EU?
Yeah, we've had, I think someone called it, the precise word they used was a shitstorm of changes. As soon as EGL was over, EGL9, it just everyone, you didn't see teams split up, you saw people changing, new people.
I'll tell you what's the worst as well, it's not even outside the top 4. I mean, I'm pretty sure every single. There isn't the same team that's attended the last event to this next one. I mean, fair enough. There's been what 3, maybe 4 events. I mean, even the team that won it. I mean, Ninja was on Vibe, but obviously they were forced to make a change. But the second place team, High Society, they made 2 changes.
Yeah, they dropped 2 people the day after. The people who came second. But the thing is, though, we know Eddie. He's very reaction. Even when you looked at them coming second for Eddie, sorry, I keep saying names. Reaction is not good enough, is it? Reaction does not take less than first place. So he came second, and they were like, chop, change, go. Next few days, it's a whole new team, 2 different people. It's like, wow, you guys came second, and you're changing the team instantly. It's like they're not striving for any less than first. And I think I saw APG. I think he mentioned it more than anything, that he was still really gutted that he didn't. He wants to. He can play well, but he still wants to win. And everyone wants to win at the end of the day. But even when I think Roy was quite nice in the way that he announced that they were dropping Ryanoob. It was quite a nice announcement, saying that it's never a good thing dropping team. He did that very respectfully, and a lot of kudos to that guy for doing that. That was a really nice way of doing it. You don't see many players doing that, so that takes a lot of balls to do that. It's one of those things, isn't it? I mean, people play to win. It's as simple as that.
That's it. There's no room for friends in business, man.
No, there isn't.
I mean, dude, you got to just imagine all professional sports without contracts to players, and everyone could just form. Dude, it would be retarded. You know, but you have to wait to get there, you know, and I don't think it'll ever happen. I really don't. I think the fact that you can shake up at any second and form a new team is kind of exciting for the viewer, but not to the extent where we're at now. Now it's just oh my God, and keeping up, and you guys do a show, keeping up's impossible. It's so you went to this team and then you left that team and went to that one and came back around. It's so frustrating. But so anyways, moving on, BTH, my thing with them is I think they're capped. I don't know if they necessarily want to get better. I think they have to make a team change because their personalities are just terrible together. They just don't work. And that's good. I mean, they're friends, but when you're on a team, someone has to be a leader, and there's no leader on that team at all. In fact, if anything, there's antagonists and then another antagonist. Right, so it's they just can gang up all time. So it's not a healthy relationship. And then 7th, 8th, what was it? Reality Check and Severance, correct? I was actually surprised on Severance. I thought Severance was just gonna get erased. I mean, I even I know I predicted them in the top 8. I think I predicted them in the top 6, to be honest. So that statement's kind of stupid that I just said. But watching them play, they got annihilated by Classic. It wasn't even close. There was a 3-0, and it was just well, sorry to see you go, bud. And the problem is that Proverb went to basic in the Air Force, and then he got discharged because he has medical problems with his heart. So that's right there was 4 weeks gone. And then he comes back, and everyone's got 2 weeks ahead of him with the 4-shot kill and learning the maps and everything like that. So Proverb isn't a player who relies on his shot. He's more of a player who uses his smart. So looking back, I'm surprised they got there. And then Reality Check, I don't know what you guys think of Reality Check, but it's Nashville, they were good, right? Everyone remembers that Nashville, they were good. And then they just steady decline. But I'll tell you who I was impressed with on that team is Absolutely. Now, Absolutely, Maven and I always say he has a very attractive fan base. Because his wife is smoking hot. But he actually is a really good player. He's a solid communicator, and he's got a great individual talent. I hope, and I don't care because it's the Sudus, but I hope he leaves the Sudus immediately and tries to get on a better team, because a lot of people get comfortable in one spot. They're oh, well, I'm top 8. I'm kind of content. I'm complacent. He needs to leave and try to excel. And if he fails, then he can go back. But I want to, people have to realize, if you start doing the best on your team all the time and you're getting 7th, 8th, and you can't get out of that bubble, it's time to make a change and just test the water out. And if it fails, it fails. You can always go back. Just don't burn the bridge. Just don't be like, oh, you guys suck, I'm leaving. You just be like, hey, guys, I'm leaving. I got this team opportunity. Sorry, blah, blah, blah. And then you go, and if you get success, then you keep building on that. That's what I think he personally needs to do. But overall, UMG, I wouldn't say I would still give it EGL 8 was the best Halo 4 event yet, just because of the pool of players. But UMG for 31 teams and all the technical problems they had on Saturday was amazing. That's my UMG rep.
Honestly, I felt like I was listening to an episode.
It was
of Gandhi's
great,
Thoughts.
wasn't it?
Amazing. I could literally just listen to
Honestly, I don't know what it is with... I don't know if it's you Americans as a whole, but we were sat here exactly the same with Tyler Hoyt on episode 7, and it was...
Watch that.
It was just like listening to... Honestly, it was like hot chocolate in my ears. It was brilliant. And after the show ended, we just sat here for an hour, and he was just going off on one. It was... Oh, man, it was brilliant. It was absolutely
Well, but you know what's
brilliant.
funny is I was sitting there, I was talking to Maven last night, actually, sitting on there on Skype watching Royal 2 play, and I was like, you know, Maven, we would be 30 times better at casting if we had European accents. And he was like, I know, dude, they sound so awesome. So we envy you guys.
You should do what people do in matchmaking and put a London voice on, mate. Poop, poop, Mary Poppins.
I don't have it, man. I don't have it. That's out of my bag of tricks. I wish I had, but I said don't.
Coming back onto UMG, I mean, after what happened in Chicago with the new status quo lineup, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that the same team that won Columbus in 2012? If I'm not mistaken,
Correct.
the status quo team. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how they fare at the next. Is it the next one over there? Is AGL again in Knoxville, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be a good event. I mean, I still can't see anyone knocking off Ambush. It's just they're too good. They're just so organised every single game.
I'm just feeling classic now. I'm just feeling it. I don't know why. There was a picture on Beyond Forums of Roy sat in the chair from Game of Thrones, and I was like, oh, that is awesome. And I can just see it coming. I really can. I don't think it's going to be like... I think they may get another win out of it, but somebody is going to come knocking on that door, and they're going to get answered big time. I can just see it.
You know that way, like, if you're ever, like, in a racing position where, like, the person's ahead of you, your goal is to catch them all the time. So you're constantly just trying to get ground on them, and their job is, like, they're at the top. So they feel like they can maybe take it easy, you know, maybe slack a little bit in practice, and that's when a team comes up. You know, that's what they have to watch out for.
Right, okay. Gandhi, we've got... How are you good for time at the moment? We've got one more
I'm
topic.
good.
Are you good for time?
I got 20 minutes. 19.
Right, Hamza, give us a pipe up at 15 then, and then we're good to go. AGL8, Nashville, new one coming up. Been going through some of the team changes. First of all, Gandhi, give us your top 8, or what you think will be your top 8, and if you can give us reasons as to why, and any other information on AGL8 that you're looking forward to, anything new or team changes, blah, blah, blah. Fire it.
All right. It won't be my official because I have to look at a bracket. I always make one thing that's cool for the fans to do is if you go to challenge, it's like CHALLONGE.com. You can make your own bracket, and then you can kind of do like little interactive stuff with the community members to see who's got the best predictions. But so I always do that. So I got to wait for all the seeds and everything. But the first thing, obviously, Rain Ambush taking first. I think the battle for second is going to be awesome, and it's all going to depend on what's going on with status quo. If they excel a lot, that's going to be an amazing 11-game series to watch in the losers bracket finals. Like, amazing. So, looking forward to that. But I think, like, if I were to bet money, I would say it's going to be Rain Ambush, number 1. Number 2 is going to be Pulse Classic. 3, status quo. And then from this point on, it's weird because I don't know if Warriors, we're going to see the 3 people stay together. I don't think it's going to happen, and I think a lot of people are feeling that same way. And what would be interesting to see is if, you know, because Legit has no problem with the really good noob at all. It'd be interesting to see, like, Legit kind of step down and go team with, like, make a team like Ace, Dursky, Rynoob, and himself. Like that would be a pretty solid team. But the problem is now you start getting into points, and now that's going to shake up the bracket a lot because Ninja has so many points alone. So what could happen is we could see, Pulse Classic going from 4th all the way down to either 6th or 7th. And that changes everything. Because then they play either status quo like before the semifinals, or they play them in the semifinals. So bracket-wise, there's a lot of stuff that can happen, but I don't think Warriors is in a position that they will be able to pick up a 4th that's going to be worthwhile. Like, everyone says, like, oh, pick up Dursky or Ace. Like, they do not bring the firepower, man. Like, on paper, in-game, like, they don't bring the firepower that's needed to compete with the other top 3 teams. They just don't. So Warriors, it's like, I have the biggest question mark on that. I mean, I'm just waiting. I think right now Legit's over at Ninja's house, so obviously he's not going to do anything crazy, right? But he might. I don't know. But so that is my big question mark. Like, are they going to stay together? Is it going to be 2 of them? Is it going to be Legit and Ninja? Or is it going to be Ninja and Goofy? Or is it going to be Goofy and Legit? Or are all 3 just going to go their own separate way? So that's what I'm waiting for. So then from there, there's a new Severance squad there's a new Severance squad that's formed, but it's nothing set in stone, so not even gonna touch base on them. But the one team that's going to be interesting to see is BTH. BTH is another huge question mark. Like, are they going to stick together? And I think it's time that they venture out, because Lethal, they're all good individually, but I don't think Maniac's that good at all. Actually, I don't know why I said that. I think he's terrible. But so, like, outside of Maniac, like, Cloud and Lethal are both really good players. 2 completely different personalities. Like, Lethal could never be on Warriors. Just don't even think twice about that. That would never happen. So I'd be interested to see if, like, Lethal maybe tries to restore the flame with, like, Neighbor and Best Man. Because Neighbor and Best Man had an amazing Knoxville event. I know you guys didn't get to see them on stream that much, but they destroyed Reality Check. Like, I'm talking erase them, like, individually. So those 2 there, it would be really interesting to see them actually form a team. And I know Crowd Pleasers is completely broken up now. They're all going their separate ways, and Lifestyle was probably the best one on that team. But the big problem with him, it's like, are you a statter? Are you actually that good? Do you help the team? Do you hurt it? Like, those are the kind of questions you have to ask. And you never want to ask those questions, so it kind of puts you're like, whoa, wait. I don't know what to do here, But so I honestly think that is a team that could form. But if it doesn't form, I don't know. But the big picture everyone should be looking at is the top 3 is basically set in stone. Top 1 is in order. Everyone knows who it's going to be. Mm-hmm. 2nd and 3rd can be toss-ups between Status Quo and Classic, and that is what everyone should be looking for. Until I think we have about a week. Because I talked about the 2-week crunch for this next event. We have essentially 1 week to wait, and then I can come back on here and I can give you a top 8 if you really want it.
We'd love that if that's all right. Please.
So once every team starts getting finalized, and really I only need 8 teams, right? Like, I just need 8 finalized teams, and then I can throw in, whatever. But whatever Ninja decides to do is going to have, like, one story is has Ninja's run in the money expired, right? Like, he was always getting top 3. Now, he may not be. Is Ninja that good of a player? I personally think he is. But everyone's exposed his weakness. His mental game's terrible. A really good noob destroyed him. There was times when I was talking to APG, and APG said, well, I was sitting there, and Ninja goes, dude, this guy's teabagging me. Like, I didn't get raped that hard. And that is in a tournament. That's in a tournament. You can't do that. You don't acknowledge that. You keep that shit to yourself. And then there was a time where Ninja got outshot, and he was like, oh my god, I'm shooting so bad. Like, you don't...
You're getting mad, yeah.
You don't say these things, man. Like, that's what you learn from online. He has to break those tendencies. And the one piece of advice that I will give everyone here is don't put too much stock in playing all the time. Don't. You learn so much more, and you get so much better from watching streams. Formal, for a perfect example, there's nights when they don't play that he sits on, he texts me, and he's like, get on Skype, let's watch Pro Scrim. And he watches them, and he learns. Like, Halo is not only learned from playing, it's learned through visual and auditory as well. So when you're sitting there at a stream, don't look for entertainment. Look to see like what routes they take in certain scenarios and try to figure out your own thing. And look at it very, very objectively. Don't look at it as, oh, that's an interesting route. Look at it as okay, so there was three guys down on the other team, and he chose to go this way. I wonder why. And then ask yourself the question of, oh, well, maybe that blocks the spawn. And if you don't see him spawn there, then you're like, oh, well, that completely negates them spawning there. This is exactly what I want to have happen. And so now you have that. You have that information in your head. So you hear 3-down call out and you go, oh, perfect, I'm going to shove purple. You know 9 times out of 10 just from watching that it's going to happen. Because when you play, everyone always notices like the bullshit that happens. Like, oh my god, I can't believe they spawned purple. I pushed from that side, right? But they're not realizing, they don't take it into consideration that maybe they have 2 of their teammates pushing from gold. And they're looking at those spawns. Like that forces them there underneath the base on Simplex, right? So that's the things you have to look at, and that's what you learn from actually watching streams. So put your time in for watching streams, like, because no team gets on every day. No team, it's impossible. There's just working together with 4 people. There's just some conflict issues and scheduling that are going to happen, and you have to be ready for that. So when that happens, watch a stream. I'm telling you, you'll get better.
Fair enough. I'm down for that, definitely. It's going to be such a sick event. I'm just really looking forward to EGL8 as a whole. I think you're right in saying it's set in stone. Do you really not think that ambush could be knocked off?
Look, it's like this, okay? And this is something for everyone back at home, all right? It's like this. You have to test. I refer to them as a dragon, but for this podcast sake, I won't do that. You have to test this team before you can say they can be beaten. They haven't lost more than 2 games to any team in any tournament ever. They haven't lost 4. You don't know what their weak. We only know 1 weak game type from them, and that's going to be Station 9 Extraction, which they were able to win every single time this event. The only time, yeah, I think so. I think that's right.
No, I think Legendary took that game from them, didn't they?
Nah, they took TS Haven.
Oh, did they?
They took TS Slayer Haven.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And TS Haven's actually starting to become a weakness of theirs too, because they get caught up chasing down low, which that's maps you have to be so obedient on, man. So obedient. But so we know now that like they've improved their Station 9 game, and that now the only real weakness we know is still Station 9, right? Like until this next event, if it doesn't go to like game 9 or game 10, like there's nothing anyone can say. There's nothing. Because it's like we don't know what to expect. Like they get better and better every single time. Like when I was talking to Mick Wynn on my show the other day, he said, well, you know, the first time we played them, we gave them a run for their money. But when we met up in the finals, it's like they turned their game completely different and they just annihilated us. And he said, that's what's scary. And he said the scariest thing about Ambush is the fact that even if you beat them in the winners, and if you don't play them in a continuation series in the finals, you have to beat them twice in 2 best-of-5s. But like if you beat them in the winners, they're still in the losers. You know what I mean? Like, it's terrifying. Like, they have to have the worst game-type luck, but even still, they're closers. They are that good. And, like, it sucks because everyone wants to see, like, the best fall eventually, but I don't see it happen. And it's all going to depend on what happens at AGL8. I pray to God we see him lose 3 games. I really do. I think
could
3
that
games.
Be the slippery slope beginning then, do you think?
Yep.
Interesting.
I know, it sucks, man.
I'm looking forward to it.
It sucks.
It'll be good. It'll be very, very good.
Don't forget all the people that have rumored returning. I know that Naded tweeted saying he was coming back, and also T Squared. I know you might not be the biggest fan of your Scott, but he said he may be coming back. And also Tots. Apparently Flamesword was at his house. So I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I loved watching like the LAN network, like when everyone got together and all the teams. That was perfect practice. We don't have that anymore, but I would love to see that come back.
Even Naded. I saw Naded on Twitter the other day mention about it. It's like, oh God, I feel like I'm backing Halo 2. Oh God.
We'll see what happens with him. I think he was running games with Pure, which I don't know. It's a good stepping stone to get his foot in the door. because a lot of the top teams question his mental game as well. He's got this unique ability of just shutting down completely. So
Right. Fair enough.
he also has that ability of just hitting that switch and destroying everything in his sight, though, too. So it's
One or the
pros
other.
and cons, I guess.
Yeah. Right, guys. We know you've got to get off soon, Scott. So I think, Harry, have you just got, for Gandhi, a couple of questions from the community just to wrap it up before we go?
Yeah, just really, really quickly, I'm going to try and keep these as brief as possible because I know you're on a bit of a tight
you're
schedule.
good, bud. You're good.
Okay. Mikkel, the guy who runs I-49, asked, I think this is in relation to EGL as well, being announced really quickly.
Okay.
Do you see segregations of teams across two events in a short period of time an issue for any community, but especially for one the size of Europe? So because we haven't got as many teams here in Europe, because we've got two events so close to each other, do you see that as a problem?
It is a problem, but the best teams are always going to show up, and that's, like I said, that's really what you're focusing on. Unless, like, they can't show up, but the best teams always have to go because there's money there, and two, they have to prove that they're still the best. So you're always going to see the top teams kind of come out. But you will see a difference in between, probably... Normally, I would say the top 8 is consistent at going to events, but after the top 8, that's when things get a little bit sketchy. You know what I mean? But I think with I-49, I'm not seeing the problem just because it's a bigger event. It's much larger than EGL, that they shouldn't have a problem because a lot of people are going to go just for that experience alone. It would be kind of like if ESL or something like that were to pick up Halo. Like, everyone would go just for that experience. Like, if MLG were to pick up, Halo 4 right now, like, people from Europe would fly over just for that experience. That's how it would work. So I think I-49 is kind of on that same scale. And so I don't think he necessarily has to worry about too much segregation. But, he's not going to see 100% of the same teams from EGL. But he'll see still, like, the top 6 for sure, if I'm a betting man. So I'd say top 6.
Adam, have you got a question for Mr. Scott?
I only have one question, and it's back, pretty sure when you were playing against Straight Rippin', it would have been, and it was the famous incident where you threw toilet paper at T-squared. Now, the only question I want to know is, did you plan it beforehand properly, or was it just a total spur of the moment kind of thing?
So the incident was planned. It was a joke between XXX and I. And so I remember I woke up Sunday morning because we knew we were playing them for top 6. And at the last event we 3-0'd them, or 3-1 them, I think. Yeah, it was 3-1 at Anaheim. And so we're at Chicago, and I hate everything about Chicago. I really do. There's nothing. I've always had terrible events there, and I don't even cast good there, so I don't go there. I avoid it in every way. But so I was sitting there, we were talking to XXX, and we were like, it'd be hilarious to give him a roll of toilet paper and say you got shit on. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Say I won't do it, I'll do it, right? I'm just this little asshole, so it didn't matter. And so I remember I woke up and I got to the venue, and I always went early just so I could warm up and get some breakfast and everything like that. So I set an hour before every one of my teammates, and so I got there early, and I was like, I forgot the toilet paper. And so we're playing the series, and out of nowhere, it's midway through game 3, XXX goes, I have the roll of toilet paper in my book bag right now, Scott, are you going to do this? And I said, am I going to do this? Of course I'm going to do this, right? So it was, to answer your question, completely planned. And that's just confidence. I had no intention of losing that series.
Okay. Harry's, before we let you get off, Harry's got 2 really, really quick questions, and then we can wrap this up.
Yeah, you touched on this slightly a little bit in the previous question. Could you ever see MLG picking Halo back up? And that's from Pyro.
It's weird with MLG right now. I'm not sure. Their big thing is, so basically how MLG's business model works is that the developer of the game, they ask money to put up for prize money and stuff like that, and to kind of sponsor the league in a way. And I don't know necessarily if 343 is going to partake in that. So that's why you see all these big Activision signs at MLG events. That's why Call of Duty has the center stage, because they pay the most for it. So it's venue space, more publicity, blah, blah, blah. That's why StarCraft 2 was it. Even though League of Legends is the biggest game, but they are kicked to the side. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the business model. So it would depend on a weird. It would be a figure to determine it, and I don't know what the figure would be, but it would basically be like MLG would say, "Give us this, we'll bring your game on," and then 343 would say, "Meet in the middle," and MLG would have to contemplate it. So, is it a possibility? Yes, but the only time they're going to really start thinking about it, and it's the right thing to do, is when they start seeing other events like AGL or UMG start getting 96 teams, 124 teams. Once we get into the triple digits, that's when MLG is going to go, because they know Halo players and console players buy MLG products. Like we have that ingrained in our brain. Like they will sell out everything in the store. Period. So it's going to come down to two figures: what 343 is willing to put up if MLG wants it, and how many teams we start getting to go to events.
Nice, thank you. Last one, Harry?
Yeah, just really, really quickly again. We talk a lot about spectator mode for the next Halo game. This is from Haynes. If Halo 5 does not have spectator mode, will we get any bigger now than compared to the other games? That's really poorly worded, but I'm sure you kind of get the idea of the question.
Dude, it's like, what is that, man? I'm supposed to have a crystal ball for this. Jesus Christ.
You are the oracle of Halo, my friend. This is why we wanted you on here.
I look at it this way, right? Like, we know that dedicated servers have been announced. Okay, that's good. Step in the right direction. We know nothing about ranks. We know nothing about really anything else, but we do know there's a multiplayer. There is no excuse anymore for a game to not have spectator mode in it if it's a first-person shooter. We are going into 2014. This has been around since Counter-Strike 1.6. Call of Duty has had this basically their whole longevity of being around. Gears of War had a spectator mode. Like, it is time for Halo 4 to realize that we can do that. And it does so many things. And just does so many things for everyone. Sims gets to commentate games online. You guys get to watch matches online. You guys can cast. You guys can do gameplay audios over it. Like, we don't need theater mode anymore. I could go in. Imagine being able to go in, and I'm not all kept up with EU, but imagine being able to go, let's just say Harry and Adam, right? Like, you guys are watching Western Wolves play Vibe, right? Now imagine, like, Sims can't make it, and people want it to be cast. And you're like, screw it, let's do it. You guys throw it up on your Twitch. You guys bring them a whole live audience. This is the stuff that MLG does with Weekly Warfare. This is the stuff that everyone gets from League of Legends. This is the stuff that they get from StarCraft 2. It is time to be on that same level. And then the best thing about it is you guys would only need $280 for streaming equipment as opposed to $1,000 for all of it, because you just need one BMI because you have one spectator mode. So it's coming to the point now where if we don't have it, I don't understand, and there's no reason for it. But is it detrimental to us? Yes. It's a humongous hindrance. Will it erase us? I don't know. It's going to come down to a lot more than just spectator mode. It's going to come down to the multiplayer ranks, the online experience. Like, those are the things that are really going to make the difference. But if those things are average as shit and we have no spectator mode, we're done. But I'm a glass half full kind of guy, so I don't think that's going to be the case. We pray for spectator mode.
We pray for a few other things as well in that game.
Just really, really quickly again before we go, I want a one-word answer here. This is from Frosty Evades on Twitter. He asks, will you ever be competing in Halo again? Please. Yes or no?
Say yes.
It's a tough one,
Say
man.
yes.
Probably not.
Just
Probably
say
not.
yes.
And the reason I say not is because, like, for the first time in my career of casting, I have a duo, and that's Maven. Like, I have someone I enjoy casting with, and so, like, that's like a huge thing. So when I can go on stream and have complete fun for a whole weekend, that's awesome. Will I compete at, like, I don't know. I could see myself. First things first, I have to get a new monitor because mine's laggy as shit. I may do, like, local events and stuff like that. Or, you know, if I don't get casting gigs at a tournament, I may do events like that. So, to be honest, I wouldn't put it past me. Let's put it that way. I would say a solid maybe.
Well, it's still a one-word answer, to be fair. I'm going to give you that one. It's a clever one-word answer, but... Right. Gandhi, thank you so much for coming on this show. It is, from all of us here at the team, Back to Basics, from TopMid and the rest of the EU, I can't thank you enough. I really can. Guys,
you gotta tone it down a notch, man. It's all good.
Oh, it's almost homo. It could be homo. We're nearly there. If you guys want to follow Gandhi, he's at Scandy. He's got his Twitter handle below his name. Get him followed on there. What's your YouTube for people to follow, subscribe to?
YouTube.com/Scott and then Gandhi.
Perfect. Guys, this show is also going out. Mikel from topmid.eu has supplied us. He has to do it. This is for EU residents only. He has supplied this show with 2,100 Microsoft points to give away to one lucky viewer. All you got to do, once this show goes live tomorrow, I'm going to tweet out this show, and I'm also going to put hashtag B2B give me the points. All you've got to do, retweet the show, and it's on this specific one that I do, okay, and I'll point you to it again. You've got to retweet the show, and you've got to write a reply to the show, hashtag B2B, give me the points. I'll get it out tomorrow, and then next week, Mikel's going to be on the show. We're going to have a list of all the people that have commented on it. Mikel himself is going to pick a winner at random, and someone someone in Europe is going to grab themselves 2,100 Microsoft points. I'm sorry it's not open to the US. It's how he's purchasing them. Apparently, he can't do it in the US because of how many they have. But yeah, that's how it is. Somebody will win those. Competition, I will put that out tomorrow. Everyone, once again, please follow us at Back to the Word Basics TV on YouTube. Follow us all on Twitter. Get it up there. Share the vid. Beyond everyone, let's have it. Gandhi, thank you once again from me, Adam and Harry and Hamza. Good night.